Hello and welcome back to Sketchbook Biology. We are only 3 episodes in, and I just wanted to say I am so very thankful to every single one of you that watched these videos and gassed me up. But we're going to try a few new things that I will mention at the end. You might notice at least one of them along the way. Let's get started. Now, if you're thinking, wait a minute, this does not look like the thumbnail, that's because you're going to see me draw today. It's a beautiful day, I have a nice cup of tea, so gather around the YouTube and watch me draw and listen to me tell you about a genus of bugs that have funky little ornamentation that may enhance their extrasensory abilities. Kind of like a sixth sense, but instead of a little boy sensing the dearly departed, it's a bunch of bugs that can sense electric fields. Electroreception was first discovered in sharks and rays by Stefano Lorenzini, an Italian physician and ichthyologist all the way back in 1678, and for a long time was thought to be restricted to aquatic animals, because we know water conducts electricity fairly easily. Air, on the other hand, is about 100 billion times less conductive. So, electroreception was not really expected or tested for in terrestrial animals, but with advancements in science and new ways of asking the same question, a growing list of land-living animals have now been confirmed to be sensitive to biologically relevant electric fields, including bumblebees, hoverflies, honeybees, spiders, mites, and even caterpillars. Biologically relevant here simply means an affects importance and meaningfulness to an animal's health. As an example here, bumblebees can sense electric fields around flowers, and they can use that to estimate how good that flower's nectar might be. Pretty cool, huh? Now, you might be wondering, if air is such a bad conductor of electricity, how does aerial electroreception even work? Before we get to the answer to that very pertinent question, I want to introduce you to a very peculiar looking bug. This thing is called a treehopper. There's about 400 genera with over 3,000 species spread across every continent except Antarctica. These guys are very well known and mostly for their very cool body shapes, particularly their pronata, that happen to have just these crazy spines, crests, and horn-like extensions. Scientists have suggested a bunch of functions for these structures, including camouflage, mimicry, signaling, warning coloration, and even defense. None of these suggestions explain the function of the pronotum across the family, but they do have one thing in common, which is these pronata are all covered in tiny hairs or setae that are articulated and innervated, which means that they're hooked up to the nervous system. And since other insects' sensory hairs are known to move in response to electric fields, it's very plausible that treehoppers' pronotal hairs can do the same. Even better, those wild pronotum shapes may actually boost electric sensitivity. And this would make sense in the treehopper's world, where countless other bugs want to eat you, and you also want to benefit from friendlier bugs like stingless bees that may protect them in exchange for the honeydew they produce. So being able to differentiate between the two based on their distinct electrical charges would be a huge survival advantage. A team of scientists, Sam England, Ryan Palmer, Liam O'Reilly, Isaac Chanchier, and Daniel Robert from the University of Bristol in England, thought just that and wanted to test if the treehopper's funky pronotum allows it to use or provide some advantage when using aerial electroreception. So they went out and collected a bunch of treehoppers, more than 100 specimens of 2 species of mutualistic bees, as well as some specimens of 2 predatory wasps. To test whether treehoppers can sense electric fields, the researchers used computer modeling, behavioral experiments, and microscopy. They first measured each insect's base electric charge and created computer models of electric fields, then simulated a wasp approaching a treehopper on a plant stem, and measured the electric field produced due to their proximity. They also compared models between treehoppers with smaller or larger pronata to see how this difference influenced electric fields. Turns out, treehoppers carried a small but positive charge on average, and mutualistic bees had a larger positive charge as well, while the predatory wasps carried a much stronger and often negative charge. The computer models showed that simulations of a charged treehopper and a wasp in close range generated very detectable and very likely biologically relevant electric fields. Pronata with larger, crazier shapes also greatly amplified local fields. Any sharp ridges and spines did actually concentrate electric forces, which would have made nearby sensory hairs more sensitive to small changes in the electric environment. This explains why many of the treehoppers' mechanosensory hairs just happen to be on the pronotum. In live behavioral tests, treehoppers were placed on a bamboo stick next to a charged or uncharged electrode, and treehoppers exposed to an active electrode were more likely to retreat, suggesting that they could detect and respond to electric fields. To understand how this might work physically, the team also examined treehopper pronata under light and scanning electron microscopes. They found that the pronotum has two main types of sensory hairs, the erect type and the pit type. The erect CT, usually found at the tips of spines, deflect strongly when stimulated. The pit-type CT, however, appear to be especially specialized and are better at detecting polarity. These properties of both of these types of CT make them great electroreceptors. And finally, the researchers did even more math to show that treehopper CT should deflect enough under external electric fields to trigger known sensory thresholds in biology. All of this taken together shows that treehoppers are not only capable of detecting electric fields, but their many variations of pronata likely make them more sensitive to these cues. The differences in charge strength and polarity between the bees and the wasps likely mean that treehoppers have the information available to potentially distinguish between predators and mutualists by their electrical signatures, which is super cool, because while the treehopper pronotum may still help with camouflage, mimicry, signaling, and defense, this study shows that pronotal geometry also makes the treehopper super sensitive to electricity. Evolution just kept piling more and more upgrades on this tiny bug. A special thank you to the scientists Sam England, Ryan Palmer, Liam O'Reilly, Isaac Chanchier, and Daniel Robert, and anyone else that helped out with this research so that I could read this wonderful piece of science. And thank you for watching and listening. I really hope you enjoyed the new format of the videos. The drawing isn't the only thing that's new though. You might have already noticed that I will be making short form content as well, just to snack size the bulk of the information presented in these longer videos. And finally, these longer videos will be re-uploaded anywhere you get your podcasts under Sketchbook Biology, in case you feel more like listening rather than watching. If today is your birthday, have the most incredible day. And if you're not having a stellar day today, I hope the stars realign very soon in your favor. But if you're just out there having an average day and you're even thinking about ordering pizza for dinner, please like and subscribe. I'll see you soon. Peace.